We're all told to just be more confident. But what does that even mean? For most of us, confidence feels, well, it feels fragile. It shows up when we win, and it disappears the second we lose. So today, we're going to tear down that old idea and build a whole new framework for a kind of confidence that is absolutely unshakable, because it's built from the inside out.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It points out the fundamental mistake almost all of us make. We think confidence is the prize you get for winning. But here's the problem with that, right? It means our confidence is completely dependent on stuff we can't always control. That's like building a house on sand. The moment a wave comes in, the moment you lose, it all just washes away. Real confidence has to come from somewhere else entirely.
Okay, so this slide breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you have hope, which is fragile, kind of like a house of cards. It's banking on a specific result. But on the other side, you have true confidence. And that's more like a mountain. It's internal. It's resilient. It doesn't care if the weather is good or bad. The mountain is still there. That's the feeling we're shooting for, a sense of self that you carry with you no matter what happens.
And this is probably the single most important shift in thinking you can make. Real confidence isn't about telling yourself, oh, I'm definitely going to win. It's about knowing, deep in your bones, whatever happens, I can handle it. Can I handle failing? Can I handle that awkward conversation? Can I handle not getting the job? When the answer to those questions is yes, that's real confidence. It's a trust in your ability to navigate any outcome, not just the easy ones.
So how do we get there? How do we build this? Well, it all comes down to what you see here, the self-trust loop. This is the engine. See, you can't just think your way into confidence. You have to build it with evidence. It's this really simple feedback loop where you just keep proving to yourself over and over that you're someone who can be counted on.
The easiest way to picture this is like having a bank account, but for your self-trust. Every single time you intentionally face something that's uncomfortable, you make a deposit. Every tiny little promise you keep to yourself, that's another deposit. Every time you move forward when it would be easier to quit, boom, deposit. Over time, that account just grows and grows, and confidence stops being something you have to chase, and it becomes your default state. Okay, so we've got the engine. That's the self-trust loop. Now, let's look at the psychological architecture that holds it all up. We're going to break down the 3 fundamental pillars of strength that create this unshakable internal certainty. Pillar number 1 is a total game changer, outcome independence. Now, that left side, that's probably where most of us live, if we're being honest. Our self-worth is a roller coaster, totally tied to whether we win or lose. The big shift is to move to the right side, focusing on your inputs. Look, you can't always control the result, but you can always control your effort, your preparation, and your character. The moment you attach your self-worth to those things, the outcome loses its power over you. And that, right there, is freedom.
All right, pillar number 2 is all about action, not just thinking. As this slide says, you have to get out of your head. You cannot think your way into confidence, you have to train your way into it. And this is so important. Confidence is a physiological adaptation. It's not just a thought. Your mind might believe you can handle pressure, but your body has to learn it too. So how do we train our bodies? We do it with what this slide calls controlled stress reps. Think about it. Things like a cold shower, a really hard workout, or making that difficult phone call you've been putting off. Each one of those is like a little training session for your nervous system. You're intentionally putting yourself through short-term discomfort to teach your body one simple, powerful lesson. I survive this. And confidence? It's just the natural side effect of that physical proof. And that brings us to our third and honestly maybe the most powerful pillar, identity. Think about it. Motivation is great, but it's fleeting. It comes and goes. Your identity, though, that's your anchor. It's that stable, consistent belief about who you are that really drives your behavior. And we can actually use this to reverse engineer confidence. The words you use matter so much. As the slide says, you gotta stop saying, I'm trying. The word trying just reinforces the identity of someone who hasn't done it yet. Instead, you shift your language to state who you are. I am someone who handles pressure. I am someone who keeps my promises. When you start declaring your identity like that, your brain instinctively goes to work to make your actions line up with that statement. And it's powerful stuff. Okay, so that's the theory, right? We've got the pillars of strength. Now let's make this real. Let's translate all of this into a simple, actionable plan that you can literally start today. This is where we go from knowing to doing. So here it is, the core of the practice. And look, this isn't some crazy, complicated life hack. It's a simple, powerful, and repeatable formula. Let's break down the 3 daily actions that are going to consistently fill up that self-trust bank account we talked about earlier.
Here's your daily protocol. It's just 3 steps. First, do one thing that's uncomfortable. Maybe it's a 30-second cold shower. Second, keep one small promise to yourself. It can be tiny, like, I will not hit the snooze button. Third, push your body. Go for a brisk walk, do 10 push-ups, whatever. That's it. You just repeat this every single day. Each one of these actions reinforces the pillars we just talked about and builds that internal strength.
And this is where the magic happens, you know? It's all about consistency. Each day you do the protocol, you're stacking evidence. It's literally like compound interest for your internal strength. One day might not feel like a big deal, but you stack enough of those days together, weeks, months, and the growth is absolutely massive.
So, where does all this lead? What's the end game here? It's all about forging a completely new identity for yourself, one that's built around that incredibly powerful belief you see right here. I can handle it.
So what does this actually feel like in the real world? Well, the first thing you'll notice is that this kind of confidence, it's quiet. It isn't about being the loudest person in the room or puffing out your chest. It's a calm internal certainty that doesn't need to perform for anybody.
And because you built it yourself, brick by brick, promise by promise, it just doesn't need validation from the outside world anymore. Sure, praise feels nice, and criticism might sting for a second, but neither one can fundamentally rock your sense of who you are.
And finally, because you have literally trained your nervous system for discomfort, it becomes resilient. So when the pressure shows up, and it will, it doesn't break. It holds strong. For one simple reason, it's been tested day after day after day.
And so we land right back here at the ultimate belief, the one at the very center of it all. It's that deep, quiet knowledge that no matter what happens, good, bad, or completely out of the blue, you have what it takes to handle it. This is the source of true, unshakable confidence.
So, I'll leave you with this question. The world is always going to try to define you by your wins and losses. But you have the power to build something on the inside, something so strong that nothing and no one on the outside gets to decide who you are. So, what are you going to build?